So, have you noticed how the very ground beneath our digital feet feels like it's shifting? Like, what if we told you the way you Google something, the way you find information online, might be fundamentally different really, really soon?
Yeah, it's definitely not just a subtle tweak. We're talking about, well, profound, almost tectonic pressure on the internet's foundation right now.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's hitting how we all discover and access information. And the driver. It's all
Yeah.
about the rise of AI.
Exactly. And that's why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We've pulled together some compelling reports, Gizmodo, Reuters, some really insightful pieces from Business Insider, financial data from AP News, and even a Pew report on publishing. So lots of angles.
Right, getting multiple perspectives on this really rapid change. And just to kick things off with something maybe a bit startling, ChatGPT. It's now reportedly handling about 1/6 of Google's daily search volume.
Wow, 1/6 already.
Yeah, and OpenAI, Sam Altman basically said he's just getting started. So, yeah.
Okay, 1/6 is huge. So when you say tectonic pressure, are we actually seeing people change how they search? Like, what does that shift look like day to day?
We absolutely are. What's really interesting is that, more and more users, particularly the early adopters, they're turning to AI search that's built right into their phones or their cars, even virtual assistants.
Right.
So they're actively moving away from that traditional Google search box, the list of links.
And it's not just where they search, but how, isn't it? I keep hearing this phrase, the end of the click-driven internet. What's that about?
Precisely. You've got new tools like Perplexity's Comet browser and OpenAI's models. They just don't rely on Google's old link-based system. Instead of just giving you 10 blue links, they actually synthesize an answer directly, pulling from multiple places, giving you a summary.
Oh, okay.
And that's a huge part of what people mean by the end of the click-driven internet.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily click anymore.
So, okay, for you listening, this isn't just some, big tech company story. This is really about how you get answers, how you find stuff online. Imagine, like, not having to click through 5 pages about, I don't know, sourdough bread recipes, but just getting the core steps right there. That's a pretty fundamental change in how you'd use the internet.
But Google's obviously not just sitting back and watching this happen.
Yeah.
Their counter move has been pretty strategic and honestly quite fast. Remember Search Generative Experience? They launched that back in May 2023, then rebranded it as AI Overviews in May 2024. Those are the Gemini-powered summaries you see right in the search results now.
Right, the little boxes at the top. And they're also thinking about maybe a more premium experience, too. I heard about an AI mode.
That's right. Early 2025, they rolled out an experimental AI mode. It's more like an interactive chatbot designed for premium users. It's a clear play to keep people inside the Google ecosystem, offering more conversational way to get information.
Okay, so it's weird, right? On one hand, we're talking tectonic pressure, Google's under threat, but then you see these massive numbers, like 1.5 billion AI snippets generated monthly, and their search ad revenue jumped to, $54.2 billion in Q2 2025? That's a 12% increase year over year. So, I mean, is the threat maybe a bit overhyped?
It's a really good question. Adds some important nuance. Because, yeah, those numbers are impressive. Google is still, without a doubt, dominant. But the underlying pressure points, they're still there. The fundamental way search works is changing. So for you, the user, what it means is Google's trying really hard to keep you right there on their results page, give you the answer directly.
So you don't need to click away.
Exactly. Which, potentially reduces your need to visit other websites. All that attention, all that data stays with Google. So it's maybe less about a sudden collapse and more about Google trying to strategically replatform itself to stay dominant in this new AI world.
Okay, now this is where I think it gets really interesting, especially if you read news online or rely on information websites, because the shift isn't just about how you search, it's about whether the people creating the content can even survive, right? Publishers seem pretty alarmed.
Oh, absolutely. There's definite alarm. That Pew report you mentioned, it shows AI overviews are seriously cutting down traditional click-through rates. Like down to 8% compared to maybe 15% historically. And for a publisher, that directly hits their ad revenue, their readership numbers.
Wow, 8% versus 15%, that's almost half. And it leads to this zero-click thing you hear about, where you just get the answer from Google and that's it.
Precisely. The impact is stark. One report said 37 of the top 50 U.S. news sites saw traffic drop.
Sure.
And some estimates say up to like 69% of searches might now be zero-click, meaning you get your answer right there on the search results page. You never leave Google. If your whole business relies on people visiting your site,
Yeah.
yeah, that's an existential threat.
So how are they coping? What are publishers actually doing if the clicks just aren't there anymore?
Well, they're scrambling, honestly, and trying to be creative. A lot are launching subscriptions, trying to build direct relationships with readers, newsletters, that kind of thing. And they're pushing hard for licensing deals, trying to get AI companies to pay for using their content to train models or generate summaries. Google's even testing things like micropayments, trying to find ways to support news organizations through this massive shift.
And it's not just the business side. This whole situation is drawing a lot of attention from regulators, right? Antitrust complaints and things like that.
Yeah, that's a huge piece of this. You've got EU antitrust complaints, specifically publishers saying Google's AI overviews are anti-competitive. Plus ongoing probes in the US. There's even talk, however distant, about potentially forcing Google to break up or sell off Chrome or Android.
Wow. So zooming out, this whole section really affects the entire information landscape that, you rely on every day. Who makes the information? Who pays for it? How easy is it for you to find diverse sources? It's a pretty big deal.
It really is.
But okay, it's easy to frame this as just Google versus OpenAI, but the battlefield is wider than that, isn't it? Who else is jumping into this space?
Oh yeah, definitely not just a two-horse race. You've got other significant players making moves. People like Perplexity, for example. With their Comet browser, they're really focusing on user-first AI and privacy, directly challenging Google's ad-based model. They offer something different, clear answers, transparency about sources, telling you where the info came from.
And Microsoft is obviously a big player, too, with their AI investments.
Huge influence. Microsoft backing models like OpenAI's GPT and integrating AI into their browsers. It's all pushing towards what some call an AI-first web. In that world, traditional SEO, optimizing your website for search engine keywords, becomes way less important because it's not about ranking links anymore.
It's about providing the direct answer the AI wants to grab.
Exactly. Optimized for the summary, not the click.
So for you, the listener, what this means is you're getting more choices. These challengers offer different ways to find information, maybe prioritizing privacy, or maybe just giving you those direct, curated answers faster. It's like suddenly having a few new specialized tools in your digital toolbox.
Precisely. More options than before, potentially.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. The big question. Is this the end of Google as we know it? I mean, the reality check is Google still dominates search, right? Like 89% market share in the US, still making tons of money. So it feels more like a huge transformation, maybe not a collapse.
I think that's fair. A collapse seems unlikely right now. However, the fundamental basis of the internet, how traffic flows, how you discover things, the whole ad-supported model that is absolutely under immense seismic pressure from generative AI, it's profoundly changing how users find and interact with information, regardless of Google's current market share or profits.
So Google's at this really critical point. They have to, as the sources say, embrace one path, really commit to an AI-first future. But they have to juggle that with keeping users happy, keeping publishers from revolting, or they risk just becoming irrelevant for certain kinds of searches, maybe.
Exactly. It's a massive balancing act. Innovation versus existing relationships versus user value. So yeah, what does it all mean for you? This really isn't just a tech story. It's not just about corporate strategy. It's about the future of how you find knowledge, how content gets made, and honestly, what the internet itself is going to look like for all of us. It's a shift in the very fabric of our digital lives.
Yeah. We've definitely covered a lot today, this dramatic shift, the old giant Google adapting pretty quickly, actually, to this new AI landscape. Then you've got the content creators, the publishers scrambling to figure out new ways to survive, and these new players emerging, challenging the old ways. It's a really fascinating moment online.
It really is. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. As AI keeps changing how we search, how we consume information, how will your own relationship with knowledge discovery evolve? And, what new skills might you need to navigate this completely transformed digital world? Something to think about.